I start visas mille lik humor anta relatable hoc knof muder fiens questions. Orendire life kan hange, not visa loterititsket, not vis amagits lamp, but sometimes vis just five words. Ande got nefsis, you don't need wifi for it, you don't need a subscription for it and definitely, you don't need your boss approval for it, o pause. Audience lax think about it, we live in a world of words, as we single sentence can break relationship, and another sentence can save. A small compliment can make someone's die, questions, the remark can ruin it. So today let's explore 5 words to hang your life. And if you really live them questions, I can promise you your life won't just hang, it will transform. Vions, gratitude is the art of finding your infhat we alla really have. People ask me, pohovdoj become happy, antitel them, post questions, po simple, sont your blessings, not your problems. One man prayed po God, give me shows. Ten he praje po God, give me better shows. Iten has have someone without legs, suddenly his compliance disappeared. Gratitude doesn't give us more. But it makes us feel like we already have no questions. Forgive holding grudges is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. O pauses mille hen we forgive questions. We don't excuse the wrong. We simply realize the weight. But also the truth is resentment burns us, not them. If you want peace of mind, let forgive. Not for them, but for you. Service is not just about feeding the poor or donating money. Service is about thinking questions. Of what can I give instead of what can I get in a world obsessed with selfishness? The most selfless thing you can do is help someone smile. But also when you serve questions. You stop living in a small home and start living in a bigger ove. I patience we want everything instantly instance of gwenstant noodles even instant success. But my dear friends, life doest work on Amazon Prime Delivery. A set take stiainto grof into a tre, a relationship take stiainto grof into love. Or dreas take stiainto mature into reality. Impatience make sus vito son. Patience makes us bloom at the right time. Hope is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Questions hope we stop trying, vis hope even failure becomes a stepping stone. Questions Edison tried more than 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Someone asked him, did you fail so many times he replied, we did fail. You discovered 1,000 ways that don't work. Questions. I hope is that get fish whisper in your heart that size, but tomorrow will be better. Wrap up so, my dear friends, questions. Remember these 5 words to hang your life attitude. Forgive serve, patience hope. If you practice them questions, your hair will feel lighter, your mind will clearer, and your life will feel brighter. And let me end with these questions. The quality of your life does depend on your bank balance, your charm model, or the number of followers on Instagram. Questions. It depends on the words you host to live. So today host these 5 words, and what your life transform. O pause smile, slick both, let the words sink in. Words have the power to heal or hurt, host them visely, my dear friends. Best questions. Have you teach of even notizen se kan make jo entire dai shine, and another sentence can make your entire dai collapse. Think about it. Imagine you are leaving home in the morning, and just as you are stepping out, someone in your family size questions. Ogo luts toda you do amazing. I suddenly you feel like you convert the world. Nov imagine instead, te sai questions. Pojure alvais socareles don me sting supagain. I de same valto de door fell so heavy, doest it. That's the power of words. Words are not just sounds. They are vibrations that travel deep into the heart. They create emotions, they shape moods and they even guide actions. One sentence of encouragement can ignite confidence. Questions. One careles remarclando that takes years to prod. Let me give you a simple daily life example. Pittions, a young student comes home after show. He has tried hard in his exam but scored less than he expected. Questions. If the parent says or suha failure, you will never improve. Itose words don't use describe a moment. Questions. They define the hill self-image. The hill begins to believe that dvojice. On the other hand, if the parent says, but it's okay, use questions yet your best, and next time well work together to make it better. I suddenly the same situation best a platform for growth. Nothing about the marks hanged, but the votes hanged everything. Many years later, questions. The hill won't remember the exact numbers on the report said, but he will surely remember the words spoken. Is it true, friends? Questions. Vgenuitibats to your hilt hot, you might not remember every toy, every gift, every meal, but you definitely remember words. Some words healed you, inspired you, made you confident. And some words who you started you, and maybe you're still carrying them even today. This is side words tarelike arofs. Onze asset questions, you cannot take them back. If you said harshly pierce deeply, but if you said visely, they can protest and empower. And the most interesting thing, we don't need to be powerful or famous to use good words. Questions. Every of us has the power to uplift another soul with used as a 15 sentences. Think about the word place. Questioning a manager who only says of who are you always late. Can you ever get things right? Compare that to a manager who says questions. Poi appreciate your efforts, let's see how we can work together to improve. If each team do you thinking will perform better? Questions. Each team will be more loyal. People don't just work for salaries, they work for words. Questions stay in relationships for money or status. They stay bezause of the way they feel when words are exchanged. Questions. Even in fiences this plays out every day. You knof some teams a friend do est net money, dost net advice, net a grand solution. Te just net so money to say po im here for you. I believe in you. Ito se five words can be more healing than medicine. Words become medicine for the heart. But on the flip side, often do we forget this power. How often do we type messages gwitzli, post comments online, or reply in anger, questions, without realizing that our words may leave a scar. Ațareles yoke about someone's appearance, questions, a sarcastic comment about someone's effort, a rude text sent in hastete may seem small to us, but to the other person, questions. They may have for days, weeks, or even years. A small daily example, let's say you are stuck in traffic, question money sits in front of you. Instantly the temptation is to roll down the window and shout. A can you drive properly, I but imagine instead, you hose silence or even a smile. You daiste spaceful questions, and you don't spread anger into the world. What's held badge visely can also be healing. Some times silence is the kindest word. Friends, life gives us hundreds of opportunities each day to either heal or hurt with our words. When you made the security guard at the gate questions, you can simply know you can say, but thank you, pray for standing here in the sun. One option is neutral, the other is uplifting. Jones, when you walk into your home after a long day, you can complain. But who is the food always latte, or you can say questions. Of en uforzoking, ik knof it must have been tearing. If ich one will be love. Fichone will slowly break it. Tions. Here is the secret. Kin words don't cost us anything. They don't require extra money, extra time, or even extra effort. They only require awareness. But the returns of kin words are priceless. The smile you bring to someone's face, questions. The confidence you give to someone's heart, the healing you offer someone's pain that come back to you multiplied. Bez gwitzjance the energy you give is then you receive. Some dear friends, let us become conscious of our words. Before speaking, us pause and ask us, the will this word heal, or will this word who if it heals? Speak it with all your heart. If it hurts, questions, hold it back, bezause sentence you speak is like a set. You can plant seeds of love, trusts, And in so ragemen you can plant seeds of doubt, pain and fear. And the kind of seeds you plant will decide the kind of garden you will live in. In the end, remember this. People might forget your clothes or your titles, but they will never forget your words. Speak words that lift, questions, words that sink. Speak words that mend, not words that break. Speak words that leave behind light, not darkness. Becau se trule, questions words have the power to heal or se tem visele. Gratitude shifts focus from lack to abundance. Gratitude is on off to se words we all hear so often. Post we hardly pause to practice it deeply. My dear friends, gratitude is not about saying a polite po thank you here and there questions. It is a way of looking at life. It is a lens that can hang over everything around us. Questions. Gratitude doesn't hang us to it hangs our perspective. And when our perspective hangs, our life hangs. Questions. Let's take a very simple daily example. Imagine you wake up in the morning. The first instinct is often to grab the phone. Questions. Het messages stroll through social media. And some times fel yellows off or serpeules perfect looking ves. But fuck lives. Before even touching the phone, we simply pause it and sight, bofenu for another day. Thank you that I can breathe, I can walk, I can see, I can hear. I suddenly your day begins with abundance instead of comparison. Gratitude is not about having everything questions. It's about realizing the value of what you already have. We live in a culture that constantly teaches us to focus on what is missing. Questions. Advertisements are designed to make us feel inadequate. You don't have this, sir. You don't wear these clothes. Questions. You don't use this phone, so you are not enough. Gratitude flips that narrative. It teaches us to focus not on what is absent, questions, but on what is already present. When you focus on what you have, life feels rich. When you only focus on what's missing, life will always feel poor, no matter how much you achieve. Think of a glass of water that is half full. Pessimist says it is half empty. The optimist says it is half full. But the grateful person says, both questions. Im ludzki even have water. I gratitude at statex dimension vibrations you even in ordinary things. The bet you sleep on questions. The thought you add, the people thoughts are about you, these are extraordinary blessings disguised as ordinary routines. Goshings story illustrates this well. A man complained bitterly every day that his shoe is very old, worn out. Questions. He felt embarrassed to wear them. On a day, while walking home, he saw an oseman sitting by the roadside without legs. At that moment, his perspective shifted forever. He realized that while he was buzzing about old shoes, someone else would have given anything used to have faith. Gratitude doest give us more. It makes us aware of how much we already have. Let's bring this closer to everyday life. Sometimes you might complain, my job is so stressful, I'm tired of the deadliness. Questions. I would pause for a moment of manipulate out there are desperately searching for a job, wishing they had an opportunity like yours. Questions. You might say, my house is too small, I want a bigger one. But of many are sleeping on pavence very nikt without a roof to cover them. You might feel that my parents are too strict, too controlling. Questions. I would of many children out there are crying because they don't have parents to love them at all. Questions. Gratitude transforms complaint to appreciation and appreciation into happiness. Events change supports this. Psychologists say that people who regularly practice gratitude are more optimistic, also even sleep better. 3 questions. Because when you are grateful, your mind does dwell on what's missing. It rests in what's already there. Questions. And peace of mind is priceless. But gratitude must not remain only in our thoughts, it must be expressed. Many times, we feel grateful inside, but we never say it. Think about your family members. When was the last time you told your mother questions? But thank you for the meals you talk every day. When was the last time you told your father, but thank you for working so hard for us? Questions. O your frank pofenu for always listening to me. You see gratitude felt in the heart is powerful. But gratitude expressed in words is even more powerful it nourishes relationships. Even in talk times, gratitude is a game hunger. Life is not always smooth ve alface difficulties. But even in pain, gratitude helps us find licht. Questions. If you fall sick instead of only complaining, you can say I'm grateful I have access to medicine. Questions. I'm grateful I have so many tocare forme. If hen ve prastice gratitude in halenges ve develop resilience. Ve stop asking questions. Of human and start asking of hat is this thinking me. That shift makes us stronger. There is another beautiful thing about gratitude, gwetskongyonus. Vchen jou appreciate others, they feel uplifted in turn, they start appreciating others. Gratitude multiples happiness not only in your life but in the lives of everyone around you. Imagine avok place vhere employees and managers constantly express gratitude for their host's efforts. The environment becomes positive. People want to give their best and stress reduces. Gratitude builds communities, strengthens bonds. Questions and spreads joy. Sometime wait for big miracles to be grateful. Vesai po il be grateful vchen I get promoted, vchen I buja hose, vchen I jeves somesing huge. I but true gratitude is found in small, everyday miracles de sunlicht, de fresh air, a kind word. Questions. A safe journey. If you can be grateful for the small things, the big things will automatically bring greater joy. If you only wait for big things, you'll miss the beauty of the life. Some dear friends, let us remember that gratitude shifts focus from lack to abundance. When you wake up in the morning, don't just count the tasks on your to-do list, count your blessings. When you feel overwhelmed, don't just count your problems. Questions. Count the people who stand by you. Gratitude turns ordinary moments into extraordinary gifts, and it turns ordinary people into extraordinary treasures. At the end of the day, you might not have everything you want, but if you are grateful, you will always feel that you already have more than enough. And that truly is abundance. Givenes friends, for as you more than the person with their friends, one of the hardest things to do in life is to forgive. We can actually say, we forgive you with our lips, but to truly forgive from the heart that is here the real testless. Forgiveness is not just about releasing the other person, it is about releasing yourself. When we hold grudges, we think we are punishing the other person, but in reality, we are locking ourselves in a prison of anger and resentment. Questions. Imagine a revi batspats hever yogo. At first you might tolerate it thinking it's manageable. But as the days pass, questions, the egg begins to exhaust you down and drain your joy. That batspats is like unforgiveness. A very bitter memory, a very angry thought, a very hurtful word reply in your minted all adds waked. And the tragedy is, the person for whom you might not even remember, it but you are carrying the burden every single day. Questions. Is the decision to put that batspach and walk freely. Let's take a daily life example. Think of our place scenarios. Perhaps at Soleagu unfairly takes credit for your hard work. Instantly, you feel anger and betrayal. You reply the incident in your head, feel driving home. Feel eating dinner, even feel trying to sleep. That Soleagu has gone home. Maybe even forgotten about it, but you are the only losing path. No forgiveness does mean you approve of what happened. It does mean you accept dishonesty. It simply means you refuse to let action control your mind and your happiness. You free yourself from the prison of bitterness. Many people confuse forgiveness with weakness. They think, to if you forgive, questions, them win, I am showing I am weak. But in reality, forgiveness requires far more strength than revenge. Questions. A non be angry, a non can hold on to grudges, but only a strong heart can say, I will not let this bitterness control me. Questions. If forgiveness is choosing noticing the behavior, it is about healing your heart. Think of family relationships. Sometimes small words spoken in anger between siblings, parents, or partners create walls that last for years. Questions. A brother might speaking to a sister because of a property dispute. A kid might stop calling a parent because of a harsh argument. Life goes beyond non die, people regret the lost years, and all along the solution was so simple. Forgiveness, questions itruetat sometime, the apology we are waiting for never comes. Yet when we forgive anyway, questions, we realize we did not the apology to heal, we only needed the decision to let go. Let me share another example. Questions. There was once a woman whose friend betrayed her truth deeply. For years she avoided that friend, spoke bitterly about her questions, and carried the wound like a badge of honor. But on a day, she realized that holding onto the pain did hang the past. It only poisoned her present. She decided to forgive not because her friend deserved it, but because she deserved it piace. She said, questions, it might not fortfarande happened, but it will no longer allow it to hurt me. Et that day she felt liker than she had in years. Questions is like a clean wound. If you don't clean it becomes infected, and the infection spreads pain throughout your body. Similarly, when you don't forgive, the infection of anger spreads bitterness into a very corner of your life. But when you forgive, you wash the wound. It might have a scar, but the pain is gone and you can live without the infection. Even in small questions. Daily situations forgiveness makes a big difference. Imagine your spouse forgets to bring something from the market. Questions. You can choose to stay angry levening, giving silent treatment, replying the mistake again and again. Or you can forgive quickly. Realizations. That on a small forgetfulness is not worth spoiling the peace of your home. Questions. Forgiveness in small matters strengthens relationships. Feel constant resentment slowly erodes love. Questions. Science also tells something beautiful. People who forgive are healthier. Studies show that forgiveness lowers stress. Questions. Improves sleep even strengthens the immune system. Few questions. Because carrying resentment is heavy work, it keeps you restless and your body tense. Forgiveness, on the other hand, relaxes the heart, calms the mind and fills the soul with peace. Now someone might ask, but what if the mistake was too big? Questions. What if the hurt is too deep? Forgiveness doesn't mean you have to reconcile with the person or allow them to hurt you again. Questions. Forgiveness doesn't mean erasing boundaries. It simply means you release the hatred. Questions. You no longer allow the incident to define your inner world. Sometimes you forgive and continue the relationship. Sometimes forgive and walk away. In both cases, you are afraid. Think about it. Every single one of us has made mistakes in life. Questions. Haven't we all said words we regret? Haven't hurt people unintentionally? And didn't we long for forgiveness? Questions. If we want others to forgive us, should we also be willing to extend forgiveness? Life becomes beautiful when we learn to give the gift of forgiveness generously. At the end of the day, forgiveness is not about the past, it is about the present and the future. You cannot hang what has been done. Questions, but you can hang how much control it has over you before giving you a new story. A story not of bitterness, but of healing. Questions, a story not of brokenness, but of strength. Some dear friends remember this. Forgiveness frees you more than the other person. Questions. When you forgive, you set up le frene for hurt you, and the only inside you for was carrying the pain. And the second questions, the only inside you is the most important. Jose forgiveness, Jose freedom, Jose peace, guions. Patience is the secret ingredient for lasting success. Patience, my dear friends, is one almost underrated virtues in today's world. We live in of instant noodles, instant coffee, instant messaging, and instant gratification. We press a button and expect results. We want the Wi-Fi to connect in on a second. We want our careers to bloom in on a year. anvevant o relation shisto be perfect in onedai, but life doest function on instant mode. Life is like nature it full of seasons, it requires time, and it reverts tose forward with faisant effort. Imagine plantica set, jo water it jo give it sunlicht, and jo nurture it viscare. Do jo expects fruit the next morning. No jo knof it will take time. First the roads will grow, ten vestions, ten leaves, and only after seasons of patience, the tree will give fruit. Questions. If keep digging the soil every day to fresher the set is growing, you will never let it mature. In life, questions, often dovedotis, we start a new project, and if success doesn't show up quickly, we give up. We start a new habit, and if we don't see results in a week, we abandon it. Patience is the bridge between effort and results. Without patience, questions, even the best efforts are wasted. Let's take an everyday example. A young student begins learning the guitar. On the first day, his fingers hurt. On the second day, the hot sound terrible. By the end of the week, he feels like quitting. Not if he gives up. Questions. Forever say we treat, but he was not got it. But if he continues with patience, enduring the sore fingers, tolerating the off notes slowly, his hands will learn, his ears will adjust, and his message will bloom. Talent is important. Questions. But patience is fattuns talent to mastery. Think of relationships. How many times have we seen people walk away at the first sign of difficulty? A small misunderstanding, a delay in response, a clash of opinions, and people lose patience. They want quick fixes, quick apologies, quick harmony. But real relationships question like strong trees grow over time. They require patience to listen, patience to understand, and patience to forgive. Without patience, questions, even though we cannot survive, with patience, even wounds can heal. Another daily example, imagine being stuck in traffic, honking, questions, shouting and complaining will not move the cars faster. Impatience only increases stress. But patience allows you to remain calm. Questions. Maybe listen to a podcast, maybe reflect simply breath. The situation outside the doest hang. Questions. But the way you experience it hangs because of patience. Impatience multiples pain, patience multiples peace. Patience is not just waiting. Waiting is standing still. Patience is waiting with faith and effort. Questions. A farmer doesn't use straw in the soil and sit idly. He waters the field, removes weeds, protects the crop, and trusts the season. That is patience at sting with his belief that the right time will come. Similarly, in life, patience doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing your best consistently, feel trusting that results will come at the right time. Questions. There is a beautiful story of Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. Questions. He tried more than 1,000 times for finding the right design. A reporter asked him questions. Though did you manage failing 1,000 times? Edison replied, but he didn't fail 1,000 times. Questions. He discovered 1,000 ways that didn't work. That is patience turning failures into stepping stones. Imagine if he had given up after the had true. The world might still be in darkness. In our careers, patience is vital. We want promotions instantly, recognition immediately, wealth quickly, but real growth takes time. A bamboo tree is a perfect example. Questions. When you plant it for the first 5 years, nothing seems to happen. It just grows small short. But underground, the roots are spreading within depth. In the 6th year, the bamboo suddenly shoots up to 70 feet in just a 5 weeks. Success is often like that bamboo. It looks invisible for years and suddenly it blooms. Without patience, we might in the 5th year, not knowing the roots are preparing for greatness. Patience also brings clarity. When we react impulsively in anger or frustration often regret later. A harsh email sent in haste. Questions. A rude word spoken in patience, a decision tak without reflection of the leaves stars, but patience gives space. It allows us to breathe, to think, to respond instead of reacting. Many relationships, careers, Andreams have been simply bețause someone hose patience over impulse. Even spirituale patience is the foundation of growths. Questions, meditation dost give peace in honest thinking. Reading wisdom dost transform you in one day. I takes daily prastice, daily reflection, daily effort. Slowly like water smoothing a rock, patience shapes our mind and hair into something beautiful. So, my dear friends, patience is not waiting, it is trusting. It is believing that life unfolds at its own pace. Questions. A flower blooms when it comes, not when you pull the petals for the full. Similarly, questions. Our efforts will bear fruit when the season is right. The next time you feel restless, remember the seed, remember the bamboo, remember Edison. Remember that patience might cost you your greatest blessings. Questions. Viele patience will deliver them to you at the perfect time. Patience dost mean delay, means destiny arriving on schedule. Questions. At the end of the day, success is not about how fast you run, but how long you endure. Fast food fills your stomach, slow talking fills your soul, fast decisions bring regret, but patient choices bring peace. Fast results fade, questions but patient lasts. So let us embrace patience not as a weakness, but as a strength. Bețause truly. Patience is the secret ingredient for lasting success. Questions. Hope keeps you my everything senem stuts hope, my dear friends, is like oxygen for the soul. Just as our body cannot survive without breath, our heart cannot survive without hope. Tions. Hope is that gentle fispenside that says you don't give up, tomorrow will be better. If without it life feels heavy, dark, vast and directionless, visit even the most difficult journey feels possible. Think of a person walking through a long, dark tunnel. Questions. If days in every step feels heavy, every moment feels endless. But if far away, questions. Takes at heaven a small glimpse of light, suddenly their energy returns. The tunnel is the same, the distance is the same. Questions. But hope makes the journey bearable. That is the magic of hope dost always hang over circumstances immediately. Questions. But it hang the strength necessary within to endure them. Let's take a simple daily example. Questions. Imagine a student preparing for an exam. The syllabus is vast, the pressure is high, and failure seems possible. Questions. If the student loses hope, he might studying altogether, telling himself, "Povats deuse, I won't pass anyway." Questions. But if he keeps hope alive, he thinks maybe it's dog, but if he study consistently, he can make it. Met that hope fuels action. Questions. And more often than not, that action brings results. Without hope, dies, with hope, effort multiplies. Consider health as another example. Think of patient who is diagnosed with an illness. The doctors prescribe treatment. Questions. But beyond medicine, what truly fuels recovery is hope. If the patient thinks, "I will never get better," the body wakens force. Questions. But if the patient believes, "I will fix this, I will recover," the mind sends signals of strength to the body. Studies show that hopeful patients heal faster. Bețause hope energizes not only the mind, but even the body. In relationships, too, hope plays a vital role. Sometimes a marriage or a friendship goes through a storm. Arguments, questions, misunderstandings, silence like nothing will improve. If both people lose hope, the relationship collapses. But if even one person holds onto hope and says, "Oh, we can work this out, we can heal this bond." Questions. That hope become the thread that slowly pulls things back together. Many relationships have survived not because they never faced storms, but because one heart refused to give up hope. Questions. Think about the world around us. A very great heaven we admire today was built on hope. Questions. The right process hoped someone's fluff hen the world motsket them. Questions. Thomas Edison hoped light soul be created when darkness was accepted as natural. Questions. Nelson Mandela hoped for freedom prison while street to crush him. If the people had surrendered to hopelessness, the old world have remained the same. But because they carried hope like a torch they lit up history. Even in small, everyday struggles, Hope is our best companion. Imagine you are you hunting and reaction after reaction keeps coming. Without hope, questions. But with hoping, you say to maybe the next one will be mine. Et that on extra attempt born of hope questions. Often become the breakthrough or imagining a new skill. The first 5 trees are clumsy, full of mistakes, questions. With hope, you can practically on a day, you get it right. Hope is not blind optimism. Questions. It is not ignoring reality or pretending everything is fine. Hope is acknowledging reality. But refusing to believe that reality is the end of the story. It is saying, yes, things are a tog, but this is not the final chapter. Questions. The page will turn. It is a beautiful story of a man was digging for diamonds. He dug tirelessly for months, lions, and when he found nothing, he quit in frustration. Another man came started digging at the same place and within a fed questions. Soon det resumetime ve quit just when we are closest to success, bezau se velose hope. Hope is the forza keeps us digging, even when results are invisible. Think also about nature. During winter, trees locally felles. The branches are bare, the ground is sold and everything seems dead. But within the tree is hope of spring will come. Questions. It waits patiently once sure enough after winter flowers bloom again. Life also has winter's times of difficulty, loss and struggle. If we lose hope in those winters, we think it will always be solved. But if we hold hope, we remember that spring is on its way. Questions. Some times people ask, but what if you hope and things don't hang? The truth is hope itself hangs you. Even if the outside world takes time to improve, hope keeps you strong time and fortsätter until it does. Willesness makes you give up before the finish line. Hope keeps you running until you cross it. In your own daily life questions, you can test this. Next time you face a problem, tell yourself, you don't see the solution yet, but you believe there is one. You will notice your mind becomes more creative, your heart becomes lighter and suddenly new ideas emerge. Questions. Hope opens doors in the mind that fear keeps locked. Some of their friends never underestimated the power of hope. It may look small, like a candle flame in the dark, but even a tiny flame is enough to break the deepest darkness. Questions. Hope is the reason people rise after failure, the reason relationships survive storms, the reason humanity progresses. When everything fails tusk, when nothing seems to work, when life looks dark, don't give up. Hold on to hope. Beds also the night might belong, but the morning always comes. Questions. And hope is what helps us rogue the night until we see the sunrise. Questions. Relationships thrive on these 5 words with their friends. If there is one area of life where we invest the most emotions, questions, energy, and often face the most challenges, is relationships. Whether it is family, friends, colleagues, or a partner, relationships are the fabrics of our lives. And yet, so many often become fragile, break Achille, or lose their arms over champions. The reason is not always money, distance, or circumstances. More often than not, the reason is words, the absence of the right words. Questions, or the presence of the wrong honest. Relationships thrive on words, or given attitudes, service, patience, and hope. Questions, these 5 are like water, sun like soil, air, and sare for a plant. Without them, the plant withers, with them, it blossoms. Questions. Let's take gratitude. Imagine talks a meal after a long tiring day. The husband eats silently, perhaps even criticizes the salt and then laughs. The food might have filled his stomach. Questions. But the absence of gratitude empties the relationship. Nov imagine the same scene w here hesais pofengio, I knof jo veretire tis mean somus. Utat one sentence doest just season de fotit seasons de heart. Gratitude turns routine into romance, when relationships fade on it more than for itself. Forgiveness too is essential. Not for people can live together through disagreements, small hurts, careless words, forgotten promises tese are natural in human connections. But if every mistake is stored like files in a cabinet, ten slowly the cabinet becomes so full that love has no space left. Forgiveness is like a sprinkling, it clears out the bitterness so that question can brace again. Think of a friendship. On a friend cancels a plan at the last moment. If you hold to the anger, you build walls. If you forgive, questions. You keep the door open for laughter tomorrow. Relationships do not need perfection. They need forgiveness to survive. Questions. Service is another what strengthens bonds. Many people enter relationships thinking of what can I get from this person. How can they make me happy? But true relationships flourish when the question hangs to questions. Of what can I give imagine parents for sacrifice their comfort for their children? That service given with love questions. Become the foundation of trust and respect. Or think of two friends when on go through hardship. The other steps up to help without expecting anything in return. That acts of service creates a memory that lasts a lifetime. Questions. When vos sides serve oser the relationship doist fel like a transaction, it feels like a treasure. Patience to is vital. Every human being has flaws, habits, and differences. Sometimes your partner might be slower than you in decision making. Questions. Sometimes your parents might not understand modern trends. Sometimes you zorlague take longer to learn. Questions. Impatience pushes people away, but patience embraces them as they are. Think of a grandman hilt a hilt to read a bit sitzle. Pions, the hill falls again and again. If the grandparent loses patience, the hill loses confidence. But if they patiently answer questions, the hill not only learns the bit but also the love is patient. Relationships grow when we all of people to hang, questions, space to improve and freedom to be themselves. Hope is perhaps the most beautiful trait in the fabric of relationships. Every bond goes through difficult times. Maiba superfaces financial stress. Maybe siblings argue over differences. Questions. Maybe zorlague struggle with a failed project. If both lose hope the bond breaks, but if even on a person size, Otis is tog questions, but we will get through it together. I hope adds like glue that holds the pieces until they mend. In Mariage Wolf's people say questions, for better or worse. Itato hope is the premise that even when is worse, they will believe in the better that is coming. Questions. Daily life offers countless examples of how these 5 words transform relationships. Pitsture atinager arguing with parents. Questions. If the parents show patience, forgiveness for the attitude, and hope that maturity will come, the relationship remains strong. Pitsture avor place here a manager shows gratitude for effort, offers patience for mistakes, and inspires hope for growth the team was respected and motivated. Pitsture a simple friendship here both people forgive quickly. Questions. Serve a hoser selflessly and keep hope alive even in distanced friendship becomes unbreakable. Questions. Many public relationships fail because of big betrayals. But in reality they often fail because of the small words left unsaid. Questions. A thing you not spoken, a sorry not offered, and we believe in you never expressed. These silences slowly starve the bond. Questions. On the other hand, small positive words spoken daily nourish the relationship more than expensive gifts ever can. We must also remember that relationships are not tested in easy times, they are tested in storms. Questions. Is during difficulties that gratitude given service, patience, and hope become felines. When someone is sits questions. Gratitude for their presence, for their irritability, service in their vagueness, patience in their ricevere. Questions. And hope in their healing, tese become medicine for the body and the bond. At that ore, questions. Relationships are not built on material things but on emotional investments. You might give someone diamonds, but questions you then attempt to 5 words, the diamond will fall like a glass. But even if you give them just your time, your words, questions, and they will fall richer than kings. Some of their friends let us never forget, Relationships drive on tese five words. Questions. Grakis people fel valuet. Forgiveness makes them fel accepted. Service makes them fel caret for. Questions. Paince makes them fel safe. And hope makes them el secures about de future. Vi sau tese relationships suffocate. Vis tese. Tei blossom into lifelong bonds. At the end of the day, life is not measured by move actions, but by muchlo vegive and receive. And love survives not by grand gestures, but by simples questions, conscious spoken from the heart. So let us hose o words visele, speak them generously, and practice them daily. Questions. But sauce relationships don't need perfection, they need presence expressed through tese five timeless words. Questions. Success without the and service fels empty with their friends, the world often tichusto has a success. From the time we are young, we hear messages like, postu de hart so you can earn more, work hard so you can achieve more, questions compet harder so you can reach higher, and yes, success is important. It brings recognition, financial stability, and opportunities. But if suits come without gratitude and service, it feels hollow. The house may be big, but the heart feels small. The bank balance may grow, but the sense of fulfillment shrinks. Let's reflect on this with a simple picture. Imagine climbing to the top of a mountain. You push yourself hard, you endure the climb, and finally you reach the peak. Questions. But when you get there, you realize you are all no ne to share the view, no ne to celebrate vis. At that moment, questions. The achievement feels less like a victory and more like a void. This is what success feels like without gratitude and service. You may reach the peak, but the view feels empty. Gratitude is what keeps success grounded. Questions. When you have so messing and you pause to remember those who helped you add depth to your success. Questions. Think of graduation stage receiving their degree. If they only think por I did it all myself, idea achievement feels limit. Questions think, poiam herebet sauce of my teachers, my parents, my friends, my hard work. Questions. I suddenly the degree is more manning. Gratitude does reduce your achievement, it multiplies it by connecting with love and humility. Service is what makes success purposeful. Earning money and recognition for yourself is good, but using your success to serve others makes it meaningful. Consider a successful doctor. If he only works for money, he might build a wealthy life, but not a fulfilling one. Questions. But if he uses his skill to help the poor, trea those who cannot afford face and serve society, his success becomes a legacy. Questions. Service transforms success from a personal victory into a shared blessing. Let's take an everyday example. Imagine someone who becomes very rich but is arrogant. He has no gratitude for the people who worked with him. Questions. To uplift others. His feels neglected, his family feels unappreciated, and his wealth isolates him. Outwardly, he is successful, inwardly he feels lonely. On the other hand, think of a person with moderate wealth who expresses gratitude to his team daily and serves his community by helping the needy. He might not be the richest, but he is deeply respected and genuinely happy. Questions. That is the difference gratitude and service make at so success. There is a famous saying, do if you want to feel rich, questions. Count all the things money cannot buy. E gratitude makes you realize those riches. Success without gratitude often leads to greed. No matter of much you achieve, it never fails enough. But success gratitude turns of what I have into what a blessing I have. It that she feels the heart. Service to prevents success from becoming self-centered. Questions. How many times do we see people have fame only to become disconnected from the people they once loved? Questions. Fame utseruits walls, but fame with service builds bridges. Think of great leaders like Mahatma Gandhi or Mother Teresa. Questions. Their success was not measured by titles, but by how much they served others. That is hit their names live on in hearts, not just in history books. Even in family life, this principle holds true. apparent mai vor tirelesle becoming successful in career questions. But if they forget lex gratitude to teis pospuse or fail to serve hildren vis tiaimant love, their success outside the fails like failure inside. True success is not just about out professional milestones, it is also about devams of relationships, questions, and relationships thrive only when we remember gratitude and service. Let me share a daily scene. A young professional will boys his parents a new house years of hard work. If he gives them the house with predalone questions, they feel happy but something will still feel missing. But if he says, we am grateful for your sacrifices that made me who I am. Questions. And this house is my way of serving your batsk. I suddenly the same house me spriceles. Tuvions, gratitude and service transform a heaven into love. We also see this truth when people react the end of life. Questions. Rarely does anyone say, I wish I had earned more money, or I wish I had bought a bigger car. If had they often say, reasons, I wish I had spent more time with my family, I wish I had thanked the people for helping me, I wish I had done more for others. Of he, but also in the final moments, pions. We realize that success without gratitude and service is like a feast without flavor, looks grand but leaves you unsatisfied. Even in small acts, this lesson applies. A student topping the class feels proud. Pions, but thanks vistiger and helps the other classmates, his success creates joy beyond himself. A business owner earns profit, but when he uses part of it to support employees' education or donate to the needy, his success creates ripples of happiness in society. Some there finds success alone is not enough. Without gratitude, success breeds arrogance. Without service, success breeds emptiness. But when gratitude and service you in success, it becomes complete. Questions. You don't just live successfully, you live meaningfully. You don't just rise higher, you lift us as you rise. At the end of the day, success measured only by numbers fades, but success flavored gratitude and service stays in people's hearts forever. People may forget your titles, questions, but they will never forget how your gratitude made them feel valued and how your service touched their lives. So let us remember, questions, success without gratitude and service feels empty. But with them even small achievements feel grand, and great achievements become eternal.